Hey guys, this is Jules. Everything is alleged. Okay, so we have not gone over in a live or otherwise the interview that was done a few days ago on Custody Queens when they had yet again someone else related to this broken plea book come on their channel. Now, they talked to the author, Chris Whitcomb. They've spoken to Dr. Turvey, the actual expert that was hired by the defense, the direct expert. And now they've talked to this Chris Holland guy, which Chris Whitcomb said that Chris Holland was one of his other sources. Now, he's claimed to have 4 sources, 2 named, 2 unnamed, because he said if he were to even give a little bit of details, we would be able to easily figure out who these other 2 people were, whatever. So Dr. Turvey and now this Chris guy, the named sources, have come out and done interviews on this one specific channel. I have noticed that with all 3 of them that have come on to this channel to do interviews, when it comes to certain things, one person might put a bunch of emphasis on this one specific thing, while, say, other person shows up and does their interview, and when asked about that same subject, this other person says, oh, looking at that is like a waste of time. There has been such drastic spectrums of importance when it comes to specific things. As you guys already probably know, even though I haven't been specific, I'm namely talking about Xana's blood on the pong table. We know it's not. We also know that Chris Whitcomb, the author, puts a hell of a lot of importance on it. He creates all kinds of theories based off of this very incorrect piece of information that he himself acknowledges he knows is incorrect because he knows what changes were made that made it incorrect, while Turvey says that's for fanboys and fangirls to be worrying about. See, it's that kind of drastic differences. We didn't go over it right away because the autopsy reports came out at the same time this interview was happening live. In my opinion, the autopsies were more important than an interview, and that's just how the dominoes laid that night. So now I want to go over this portion that was said by this guy. This specific thing, which you already know from the title and the thumbnail, is about Xana's blood being in the kitchen. He's the only person that has stated this.
How do we know that that's when Xana, and it was Xana that was attacked and that she was attacked in the kitchen?
Well, 2 things. One, she was attacked in the kitchen. She's listening on TikTok to videos, and there's a speaker in the kitchen, which logic says she had Bluetooth going to that speaker, and that's what she was listening to. The DoorDash delivery bag is in the kitchen, and actually there's blood of Xana's in the kitchen.
Okay.
Bethany hears the table get hit. So now, if it's not Xana being chased and running that table, who is it? Right.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Okay. So I rest my case, counselor.
Now, I don't remember. I wasn't aware that Xana's blood was found in the kitchen. So
in one spot, just in one spot.
Okay. Now, was that wasn't the blood that was on the pong table? That it may have been somebody else's because of a misnumbering by Sutton.
No.
Okay, that's something different. Okay.
His whole thing about, oh, there was a speaker in the kitchen and she was on TikTok, therefore logic would tell you she was using the speaker in the kitchen. That's not facts. That's not even a theory we can go with, because at this point we have phone information, and the phone information would literally have said if her phone was connected to Bluetooth. So for him to just say it's logical because she, according to him, was in the kitchen and so was a speaker, I can't take that seriously. That's number one. But number two, no one else had ever mentioned this before. So I wanted to go in and try to find this with the information that we have right now so that I could go ahead and show you guys me going in and deep diving this information before coming out and doing this live review, so that I don't go into this completely blind, and honestly, so that none of us go into it completely blind. So let's go ahead and start with the photographs that were taken at the scene of the blood spot so that we can get how it was initially, I guess, documented. But we know that numbers and the way things are marked change. So let's go ahead and get on this damn goose hunt. So originally, when I recorded this, I made a few statements saying that I wanted to put this out before we went over the entire interview in a live. But after going back in and realizing what you're going to realize by the end of this video, I really just don't want to waste my time. It seems to me like this guy only looked at whatever Turvey let him look at, that he wasn't someone who was actually hired on by the defense team. He's just someone who knows Turvey, and basically Turvey asked him to do him a solid by peer reviewing basically his work. So it's not like he has any inside information that we hadn't already heard. And given what you're going to see in this video, I again just feel like it's a big waste of everyone's time. If you've already watched this interview, then you've already formulated your own opinion. If you haven't already, go over there and watch it. Don't just take my aggravation as gospel. Go form your own opinion by watching it yourself. But I just don't want to waste any more of my time on this when there's more important, more concrete, more definitive, closer information that we need to be going over. So I just wanted to say that before I let the rest of this play. Let's start off with photos. So if we go to the January 20th, 2026 drop of photographs that came out from the Idaho State Police that had, in my opinion, the most detail, that's where you can see a couple different places where they do have photos of the blood. Now, if you notice, it's almost a completely perfect circle, minus a little piece missing. It's almost like a little crescent moon. Let me go ahead and get bigger right here so you guys can see. It almost looks like there might be a little bit right here, but that might just be wood detail, and I'm not really quite sure. But yeah, it looks like almost a completely perfect circle, minus a little piece, which is interesting considering that we see these little circles in Xana's room a lot. Now, I do know that as blood drops would drop down, you know, it goes into a different section. As blood drops would drop down completely straight down on the floor, it would obviously leave this little perfect drop normally. But where's the rest of the drops? It's kind of insane to think that just one little drop would be there and there wouldn't be any other drops anywhere, especially if this is the only piece in the kitchen. I don't know. I'm digging into all of this just now because I didn't think we had an answer for the blood in the kitchen. I thought it was just like an unknown situation that they just didn't test. But, you know, we're going to find out today. So here down on number 245, we start getting back into the kitchen. And we can see they've already placed a little sticker down there. And then they've thrown a whole bunch of Amido black all over the kitchen. Now, again, Amido black will turn this like dark black blue when it attaches to proteins. And notice how like dark black blue it is on the floor down here. This is a lot lighter. This is a whole lot lighter. I really wouldn't consider too many pieces up here, at least at this angle, as something too important, I guess. But I do see that this down here, especially like right here, is very, 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 very dark. But see, then you go down to page 282, and this is before they started destroying everything with Amido black, before they've even put a little marker down. See how unorganized these are? I mean, even right here, I'll stop right here and show you guys just an example. So number 360 is marker number 28, and it has a few more photos. Then it goes up to the third floor stair rail for number 41, before it then comes back down into the kitchen for number 40. So disorganized. Absolutely ridiculous. But this is where they again have the sticker placed down before they start throwing the Amido black onto the floor. Did they like cover it up, or is that just a horrible angle? See, now at this point, something else has happened here, because see how much different it looks? It was almost a complete circle. At this point, has it already been swabbed maybe? And that's why some of it's missing? Because that's a giant chunk missing. Dang, they really took out a bunch. So since we have that it is marker number 40, we're going to go to the Moscow Police Department supplemental narratives, because the first like 29, 30-ish pages is an inventory packet that has one report written, and then it has, as you can see, all the different items listed. Well, item number 40 is right here, blood swab, and it shows that this is the evidence number, 1839. So now we're going to take the evidence number for 1839, and we're going to go to the Idaho State Police Forensic Lab reports, and we're going to see how this was actually labeled as it was being tested with ISP, because it did not keep to be item number 40. As a matter of fact, I'll show you guys here exactly what happens if you go in and you try to find item number 40. Now, I have all of the forensic reports separated in here. And if you go to the little index that I created, where I went in and I put a screenshot of the items in each of the reports with the report number, the analyst, the officer, the date the evidence that's on the report was accepted, and basically like what it is, you go down here and you see that item number 40 is actually, let's see, I think it was right here. Item number 40 is actually that damn black glove. See this right here? Item 40, black polar penguin glove. So that's why we had to start with the inventory report, so that we could get this 22M 1839 number for item 40, so that we could go into the evidence submission receipts, see how it has the actual agency exhibit number here like they do for the sheath. So now we're going to go in and look for 1839. Now I can't control F this to try and find it, so I'm just going to scroll until I see 1839. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start back at the beginning and I'm going to call out the numbers so that I can verify with myself that I am not missing anything. So here is 1810. And remember, we're looking for 1839. And now here's 1810 again, which I should be getting this information about why there's a resubmission here soon. I just paid the deposit on the information that was found by MPD. I don't know what it is. I don't know how many pages it is, but something was found. So we'll see. So we have 1830, 1840, 1879, 1882, 1883, 1911, 1940, 1941, 1954, 1968, 1969, 1988, 2013, 2014, 2026, 2028, 2029. Not there. Then we have submission number 3, 1820, 1834, 1909, 1950, 1987, 2024, 2043, 45, 46, 59, so it's not there. Number 4 is 2081 and 82, so it's not there. This is submission number 5, 2060, 2100, 2097, and then here's number 40, the glove, which it seems there was a little bit of a typo here, but we know that that's the glove right there. Then we have number 6 and 2131, 2132, 2133, 2134. Now we have submission number 7, 2124, 2126, 27, 28, and 29. Okay. Now we have submission number 8, 2130. That was it for that one. Submission number 9, 1802, 1803, 1804, 1805, 1806. Everything right here from the kitchen. But nothing from that. 2139, 2143, 45, 46, 59, 60, 61, 62, 70, 72, 74, 76, 77. So they had stuff in the kitchen in this one, but they didn't do anything for the kitchen floor. Remember, we're looking for 1839. Now here's submission number 10, 1855, the blue powder. That's it for that one. Now we have submission 11, 1816, 1819, 1828, 29, 32. 41. It skipped it. And then 2053. Seriously? It should have been like right here. Oh my God. Okay. So let's go down to this one. This one is not, what number are we on? 12. This is where I'm getting that from to keep track that we're going in order here. 2700, 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, nothing in there. This would be submission. This should be 13. Yeah. 2140, 0034, 3839. And now we're in the 23 M's instead of 22 M. 40, 41, 66, 67, 68, 71, 76, 77. Now here we have submission number, this should be 14. We're about halfway through. There's 83 pages of these. 0241, 0249. This looks like to be from Kohberger's car. 0255, 256, 277, 78, 317, 318, 0349, 0241. And let's see, this one should be, yep, there's 15. Okay, 0472, 0473, 76, 75, 74, 2055, 2057, 2055, 2055. Why are these the same number? Oh, okay, so this is where they took West bedroom and then trash can, stain on chair. DNA. Okay, this one is number 16, 0501, 0502. And then we have 17, 0557, 0558. Number 18 is 0961, the blanket with the hearts and then the green jacket. $19, just 135. $136. These are exemplars. I think this is where they had some like stuff from Hunter Johnson and Dylan be put back in. If I'm thinking correctly, I might have that wrong. 1284, 1332. $0834. This is Jack DeCour's prints that were put in 2025. So guys, we just went through all of the forensic evidence submission reports for this case number, and there is nothing here saying that item number, what was it again? 1839 was ever submitted over to the Idaho State Police. Now, I will look one other place because we don't just have this case number. We don't just have this case number, and it's 4843. I have it backwards here. Okay. We also have 4870, where some stuff from like Jack Showalter and Connor Chestnut and stuff was stored under this case number for some reason. So let's look here at these little 3 pages that we have for evidence submission receipts and see if it happens to be there. I highly doubt it. I'll make these bigger so you can see. No, these aren't even like the same kind of numbers. Now, I also went into the Idaho State Police reports that we received and was able to verify that the report that Jeff Talbot wrote, which is supplemental report number 32, one of the ones that he wrote on December 6th, because remember, one of the things that Chris Whitcomb did bring to our attention, and I'm glad he did, props for this, is that several of the reports written by Jeff Talbot about what he did that first week of the crime, all the days he spent going back and forth to the house and back and all the things, He didn't write any of those reports until December the 6th. There's like between 5 and 7-ish reports that he wrote basically all at one time. But you can see here that for this one, it shows that he was part of the crew that picked up evidence that was labeled right before we get to this large list. And it says that at about 5:24 p.m., he assigned Detective Jake Schwecke to start the pre-evidence processed video. I would love to see that, because then it should show where the sheath actually was at the time it was being picked up, labeled as exhibit number 14. Now it does say located on bed of floor 3, but we do know that there's apparently this handwritten report claiming it was on the floor. I have asked for this information. I have not yet got a response from Moscow about it. But then he goes down to talking about how around 7:05 p.m., himself, Detective Powell, and Detective Schwecke start labeling, collecting, photographing, evidence, exhibits, all of the things. And we see that down here is exhibit 40, the blood swab collected from kitchen floor near north side cabinets. Now, if you just kind of take a look, you don't see any other swabs coming from the kitchen. This is it. And I will share in another video other information I have found in the information that we have received so far in way of drains and whatnot, because there is an email thread that gets into some pretty specific information. But again, that's for a different video. So I was looking around to see if item 1839 was listed in the MPD reports literally anywhere else. And guess where else it's listed? The refrigerator incident. The refrigerator incident, guys. Remember the report about the refrigerator going out and having to be replaced? Let's read that whole report while we're now looking at this one more time. This was January 30th, 2025. Right after that closed session that happened where we ended up getting the transcripts, right after the motions in limine were getting started, when they were trying to get a Franks hearing, that time, okay? Evidence refrigerator. And this is from Tim Smaldridge. You can tell, even though it's redacted up there, this is Tim Smaldridge. On Friday, January 24th at approximately 7:50 hours, so right before 8 a.m., I arrived at the Moscow Police Department to start my shift. When I reached my door, I could hear an electronic beeping noise. Upon entering, I determined the noise was an alarm sounding from the evidence refrigerator unit. The digital temperature display read 60 degrees Fahrenheit. When I left work the day before, Thursday, January 23rd at 1200 hours, there was no alarm sounding. The evidence freezer, which is a separate unit, was not affected. That's literally the exact same date as the closed session. The literal date. Okay. Now, right here, it shows that the freezer section of this unit was not affected. So anything that was frozen was fine. This is stuff that's in the actual fridge portion. I immediately contacted my supervisor, Captain Hathaway. Captain Hathaway recommended I transfer the items stored in this refrigerator to our secure outbuilding where other evidence is kept due to the lower temperatures outside. I turned off the heating units inside this storage area and opened the large garage door to allow the inside temperature to drop quickly. The outside temperature was freezing that morning, and within 10 minutes, the inside temperature dropped below 50 degrees, which is the lowest number on the thermostat. All items were transferred by 0800. I highly doubt all of this took only 10 minutes, but okay. At approximately 12:30 on the same day, so about 4.5 hours later, Captain Hathaway brought a new 20 cubic feet refrigerator to the outbuilding, which he plugged in and set the temperature. An hour or so later, I checked the temperature of this refrigerator. The thermostat read 40 degrees. I transferred all the items to this refrigerator where they will be temporarily stored until the primary refrigerator unit is repaired. No DNA extracts were stored in the evidence refrigerator. Those are stored in the evidence freezer. So the freezer section where all of the actual DNA extracts themselves taken from swabs turned into extracts, those were completely unaffected. Inside the refrigerator were the actual blood swabs, the actual evidence swabs. And as you can see, 1839 was one of them. And I'm not going to sit here and read the whole thing because I have to actually stop recording and get ready for our Kennedy Fitzgerald live interview review here in just a few minutes so that you can kind of gauge the date that I'm recording this. But this is the list of everything else that was affected in there and had to be moved. But again, these are the like actual original swabs themselves. Any of the actual little Q-tips or anything like that, little cuttings, not the DNA extracts that were created from the swabs. The goal, though, is that whatever the DNA extract is, if you were to take the swab and do it over again, that it would come to the same answer. Now, with this sort of thing happening, I don't know if there's damage that could have been done to these original swabs that would make a DNA profile come out differently if done over again. I don't know how that works. I just know that this has been a big topic of discussion for quite a while now. If it hasn't been submitted in a way of being tested, then how is this guy coming out here and claiming that it's Xana's DNA? I can't even prove with what we have right now, as you guys just saw, that it was ever even sent over to the Idaho State Police Forensic Lab. So unless there's something from the FBI that we haven't seen, there's no evidence that the kitchen floor blood was ever even sent for testing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to FOIA the Moscow Police Department for the chain of custody information for that specific item and see what I can find. But for now, we don't have any proof in the public that can back up what this guy just said. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already, and please don't forget to make sure that the notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.